Hey guys, Shop Talk Podcast.
I'm a zero pro guy.
I did it, yeah. I ran a marathon.
You only crank screw?
Am I the town hero? 3 laps of that are just... Okay.
Hey guys, Shop Talk Podcast, episode 50. Thanks to Brudos Spray Foam and Dohrn Hay Straw. Also, Woody's Traction Products. Shop Talk 10. Use that code. Save yourself 10% off and free shipping. So, episode 50. A huge episode for us, Kyle.
Yeah, we've been dreaming about this one for a long time. We're finally making it happen.
We're on location at the Skime Ranch with Roger Skime. Roger, thank you to you and your wife Bernice for letting us come up here.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate it. Yeah. This is awesome for us.
It's humbling for me.
No, but yeah, we really appreciate it to let you come up here, or let us come up here. We're all bro, you're not. We're representing Artie Cat the best we can with Kyle's retro ZR jersey.
Yeah, had to wear the 2000.
But so we'll just get into it, Roger. You graduated from Roso, right?
Roso High School, yep.
Yeah.
1961.
And just where you were farmer, right?
We lived on a small farm up here at Skime, yep.
Yeah. Oh, so that was maybe my first question. Where's the correlation from the town of Skime to the last name of Skime?
Okay, there's a correlation. My grandpa's name was Andrew Skime, and his brother was Tom Skime. And Tom Skime was one of the first settlers up here. And when they came to pick a name for the post office, when they were going to get a post office of Skime, they sent in 3 names. They sent in Mosbeck, Stefanovich, and Skime. And I think they picked the shortest name. so Skime got to be the post office up here.
Oh, okay.
We still own the Skime store, which is where the post office used to be.
Sure. Huh.
So when you come racing through there, you race right through the Skime store, by the Skime store.
Yep. Yeah, that's where they had the gas stop the last few years, is right outside there.
I thought I recognized it when we were driving through. Yeah, when you get racing, you don't know where the heck you're at. And then,
No.
Yeah.
But so you graduated from Roso, actually went to school in BSU?
I graduated in spring of 61. My plans were to go into engineering and I started school at Bemidji State College in the spring of 62. And when I had put in a year, I was looking for employment because we didn't have no money. We were a poor farm family, and I was going to get some money to go to school another year by working out. And so I stopped at Thief River Falls and got to visit with Edgar, who was just starting Arctic Cat in Thief River. It was actually called Polar Manufacturing, and he we was interviewing me and Mary Johnson, the secretary, came and said, "Edgar, you got a telephone call." So he left me standing on the floor down there in the basement. He was nailing a crate together is what he was doing. And he left me standing down there, and it got longer and longer, and he never came back. And finally, I just grabbed that nail apron, and I tied it around my waist, and I hammered a crate together so that he was nailing there. And when he come back, he said, "What was it you want?" He said, "I said, I'm looking for summer employment because I'm wanting to go back to Bemidji State College for school." And he said, "Well, when can you start?" He said. So that was my first application for work in the snowmobile industry, and that was in 1962. And 57 years later, I was still in the snowmobile industry. So it was a good. Edgar really didn't even understand what he did for Roger. He gave me a life, instead of a job. He thought he was giving me a job for the summer, but it ended up being a life. And I'm very blessed, feel very blessed because of that opportunity and because of the opportunity to work with him. Edgar was a awesome individual. He taught me a lot about mechanical stuff, and I got to work directly with him on building stuff. And it was, as years went on, I got to realize that it was more important, some of the life lessons that I learned from him than the snowmobile lessons, because he'd give me a job to do, and he would say, I'm going to be gone now for a while. He said, if you can get that project done, and he'd scratch it on the floor with a piece of chalk on the cement floor, what he wanted. And I would say, yeah, I think I know what you want. And two things would happen. First of all, sometimes I'd get it right. And he came back, and he was with a big smile, and he'd say, pat me on the back and said, thank you so much. And but then there was the other time when he got come back to view what I had accomplished or built, and he would look at it, and I could see that it wasn't what he wanted. And but he never said, you silly little young pup. He said, why did you build it like that? That ain't what I want. He never said that.
Yeah.
He would say, he kind of smiled at me, and he'd say, what do you think of this idea? And then I'd have to build it over again. So that lesson went with me through my years and in the industry, in the snowmobile industry. And I've had 70, 80 engineers work for me. And when you use that recipe, strategy of working with people and showing appreciation, you get a pretty strong team put together. And we had I was blessed with some very, very awesome people creating snowmobiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like, my first question there is, like, why did you stop in Thief River looking for a job? Like, why didn't you go back to Roso, to Polaris, like your home? Was Roso your hometown?
Yeah, sure. I graduated from Roso High School. I don't think. I think it just how it happened. It didn't. I knew of Edgar up at Roso when I was going to high school, and I knew of him when I was going to Bemidji State College, and just as I was coming through Thief River there, I said, well, Edgar's starting up a startup company in Thief River Falls. I'll see if he's got need for any help. So that's how I stopped there.
Huh. Where, like in the layout of Thief River, where was that original shop at?
That original shop was down by the dam, on the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Huh.
So were you guys right away building engineering snowmobiles? Or?
No, Edgar was building bug catchers, and he was building desk units so you could put in your pickup and write down stuff when you were driving out in the field. So he was building stuff like that, but he also had started building snowmobiles when I came to work, because he came there in 61 and I didn't come until 62.
Yeah.
The spring of 62, I came there.
And you were like the fifth employee?
Fourth employee.
Fourth.
Wow. Yeah. So it was I had a close relationship with Edgar, and if anybody would ask me the question, what influenced you the most in your years in snowmobile and snowmobile engineering, that's the name that got to come up is Edgar Atteen, you know.
And did you so snowmobiles were really new at that time? Like, did you have an interest in snowmobiles? Like when you?
Oh, I did. I did have an interest in snowmobiles because it was pretty awesome, you know, to know that you could get on a piece of equipment and travel over snow where you'd go out and have to walk with snowshoes before, you know. That was Edgar's first, Edgar and David Johnson's driving motive was to build something to get to deer camp with, you know, and that's how they come up with the first snowmobile up there in the Roso.
Wow.
You know.
To think that's the idea to start the snowmobile industry in Minnesota is I just want to get to my deer camp. Wow, ain't that something? That's pretty cool.
They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. They didn't know what it was going to become at all.
Yeah.
Neither did I. When I went to work for Edgar, and as the years moved on, it was hard to imagine what was going on because it was traveling so fast. It's from the 60s through the 70s and into the 80s, and I mean it was full bore ahead.
Yeah.
Unreal. So sitting behind us here, we have a '66 Panther.
That's 70.
70 Panther.
The '66. What was that? I thought that had some representation that I wrote.
66 was when we started working on a Panther.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's.
This is a 70 model that I got here. I got this from a dealer in New York, Steve Livingston. He came up here one time, and I think it was on my 75th birthday or something. And I was out hunting bear over on one of the farms I have. And I came back into the yard here, and there was pickups all over the place. And I said, what in the world's going on at the ranch? You know, and then they'd had this Bryce birthday party. And Steve he had that 70 Panther. He was unloading it over by my shop underneath the breezeway there. And I said, Steve, what are you doing? And he said, I'm unloading a snowmobile. And I said, yes, I can see what you're unloading. I said, but why are you unloading the snowmobile here at Skime?
Yeah.
He said, I'm giving it to you. He said, that's what he said. I'm giving it to you.
Yeah.
So he left that for me.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, right.
Where did the cheetah print seats come in?
The what?
The cheetah print on the seats.
Oh, that was a Panther.
Whose idea was that?
Oh, I don't know.
Right away when the first 66 Panther come out, they were just a black seat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But beforehand, getting into I know the snow travelers and stuff like that, and the Model 140s and stuff, the older Arctic Cats. Where did the idea come of racing these things?
Edgar answered that question many times over the years, and he said, whenever I asked him when did racing start, he said when the second snowmobile was built. And he was true, because whenever we would go out and develop a snowmobile, you had another one with, to see if you were better than that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure where the Panther leopard skin came from for the seat, but somebody had an idea.
Yeah.
Make it look like a cat, you know.
But so the Panther kind of revolutionized the way of a snowmobile. Beforehand with the Model 100 and stuff, the engine was farther back, and there was, instead of leaf springs, they were actual a valve spring almost is what they look like.
With a half-inch travel.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of part in developing that kind of
This
stuff?
Panther here was that's my pride and joy, and it usually when you create something, it's because of need. And I remember going to Roso to the snowmobile. They had races up at the fairgrounds, and then he would race into Canada and turn around and come back. And I was racing a 141 Deluxe.
Yep.
And they used to have 8-horse coilers in them, but I had gotten a hold of a Hertz engine from Ralph Gott in Germany. And I put it in that snowmobile, and oh my God, it had way too much speed for the for the snowmobile, you know.
Yeah.
The snowmobile was going to buck you off no matter. I mean, you didn't have any choice. You either slowed down or you fell off. And I tried to ride that ragged edge for that race, and I think I fell off 13 times.
Wow.
And then when I came back to the thief river, I said, well, now it's pretty obvious what we have to work on.
Yeah.
It's we got motor now to move it around, but you got to be able to stay on the damn thing. So So then that's when I took the motor from the top of the tunnel, stuffed it down in the front of the front panel, and put. And the other thing that we had done is we did 140s and the 100 and didn't have any rear suspension travel either. So we took that same slide rail, but we put spring bias between the chassis and that rail.
Yep.
So that, together with moving the engine and making it as light as possible, drove the success of that Panther snowmobile.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like everybody in that area kind of followed the same suit.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to have a Panther or use the ideas from the Panther.
Mm-hmm. When those 2-strokes started coming into play and getting rid of the 4-stroke or the Kohler engines and stuff, that's kind of interesting. When you started making the Panthers, there were so many different engines that you can get for them.
We had a sale for snowmobiles, but we couldn't get enough engines. So we went to everybody we can get engines from. We had Hertz engines, JLO engines, Robin engines, Sachs engines, and wherever we can get engines is the Kohler engines. That's how we built our production for the year.
Yep.
In 1972, we built 112,000 Panthers.
Holy crap! Yeah.
112,000. The whole industry is not 100,000 even today.
Yeah. No. Right. Yep.
I've had the joy of being in the industry starting when it was built just maybe one a day to when 1971, 72, the industry was 500,000 snowmobiles.
Oof.
Wow.
And Arctic Cat was building 112,000 of them. And then about 10 years later, it's kind of like a roller coaster. 10 years later, we were out of business. Arctic Cat was bankrupt.
Yeah.
Out of business.
Yep.
A sad time in my life, and traumatic. And then we started again in 1983, and we built up again and up again.
Yep.
But it's never, and guys, I think I'm 81 years old now, and I don't believe that I'm not so sure I'll see a 200,000 volume business per year anymore.
Like we've talked about it a handful of times that it looks like 97 was the best year ever.
Yeah.
It was just everybody was making great sleds at that time, and it was just like one of the best years for snow there's ever been.
And I was gonna try and get your opinion on whether or not if the machines are just too much nowadays, so they're not making a a commercially available cheap enough sled.
There's truth in that.
So
there's truth in that. There's a lot of stuff on snowmobiles that don't need to be there.
Right.
But there's also a lot of stuff on snowmobiles that needs to be there, and those are the innovations that if you're a designer or a creator or an engineer, that you are driven to improve upon. You know, Polaris come with long travel suspensions in the 80s and 90s, and the industry moved in that direction. We put all of the competitors put more travel in the suspensions, so it's a very competitive business, but it's also a very unique business in that it isn't like building a car, and it isn't like building a television. It's building something that you really didn't need, but you do enjoy when you get a taste of it.
That's so dependent on Mother Nature as well. You were at the first Eagle River Derby.
Yep.
And you actually raced in it.
Yep. 1964. They had an over 9 horsepower class and an under 9 horsepower class, and I won the under 9 horsepower class. So Stan Hayes and I shared the first world championship. He won the over 9 horsepower class. Stan Hayes did on a Polaris. Sure. And I won the under on an 8 horse Arctic Cat. In my little 8 horse Arctic Cat, I kind of tricked it out a little bit because it was as fast as it was going to go. You know, and because the valves would start floating on the Kohler engine, 4-stroke Kohler engine. So I found some stiffer valve springs and stuck in it so it didn't float, and then it would rev up a little bit higher. So, yeah, they couldn't believe that we could win that race. They said that we had alcohol in our gas, and so Edgar had him take and dump gas in his cigar tube and test it for so we weren't cheating.
I mean,
and I was 19 years old, mind you.
And you'd been at Polar for about 2 years then.
Yep, 64. Yep.
Huh. And it was were you always into racing?
Yeah, geez, I got an addiction to it, you know.
Right from the start.
Yeah, right from the start. It was a real addiction. It was. It's worse than the drugs.
I mean, to go all the way to Eagle River. Back then, that had been quite the trek, and then to not know what you're going out there for. Looking back on it, there's the first year and what it came to be now, and what it was through the late 70s and everything.
We must have been crazy, as a matter of fact, because I got pictures. I don't have any on the wall here, but I got pictures of when I was racing in that race.
Yeah.
And all I had on was goggles. Didn't have no helmet on, no cap, no nothing. How crazy can you get?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was where the sport was kind of taking off. It was starting to be something.
Yeah.
And back then you didn't know what it was going to be.
No.
Unreal. I can't imagine looking at it through that lens of what we know the sport as today and what it was starting out brand new.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So throughout 65 and then leading up to 66, you were still racing a Model 100 is what it would be, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. What I raced in Eagle River is a Model 100 Deluxe.
Give you a visual. It's just a tin cab, pretty much, round body, made of tin. No fiberglass on it. It's all tin, you know. And, bright red was what they were. Yeah.
But mine was a 100 Deluxe, which had the red, and then it had the white fiberglass cap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had the Deluxe model.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was in style, I'll tell you. Didn't wear no cap in here, nothing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, was it warm enough to
no, I don't think so.
You're just looking cool.
Looking cool.
Yep. Yeah. That's just as
you don't notice there's no cap there either.
Yeah. What is that picture that we're looking at there, Roger? What's the story behind that one?
That's we were taking photographs for brochures. Okay. And that's a 1970 model Panther, and we was going to West Yellow or to Old Faithful.
Oh,
I
okay.
stopped along and took photo there with the wildlife.
Yeah, you're only 20 yards from a bison there.
Yeah, and the doggone crazy photographer said, "Shut your motor off," and I said, "You're kidding me?" No, not today. We're not going to do that.
No, not shutting my sled off that close to a buffalo.
Oh man.
So like we could get into so many things, Roger, of just on how the sport evolutionized in the late 60s there, or like get right into the almost the peak of the snow pro era of 78, 79, 80.
Well, there's a lot, like the beginning of the 70s with the Panther really kind of revolutionizing the way that the modern day snowmobile is. There's a lot of like engineering questions and stuff that I kind of had. So like I had heard like the slide rail suspension deal, and then putting springs in it. But I'd heard that you wanted to take the skid angle up a little bit to free up some friction there.
Yeah, well, the evolution is exactly how it goes. And the first frame that I had in the Panther had a wheel in the front end of the rail where it met the track sprocket. And there was a fellow from, can't remember his name anymore, but he was from down in the Gonvik area that had tapered the rail and took the wheel out and just just cut the frame and tapered it up. Mm-hmm. And man, could you get going in the snow with that?
Yeah. You're not bulldozing the snow.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So there's a lot of people that you got to give credit because that taper is still on all the frames today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all angled like that. Yeah.
What was that other question, Kyle, you had about the air horn it exhausts?
Oh yeah, so like getting into like the Panthers and stuff and racing them, there were so many different modified ones that the racers were doing, but like we were talking, getting engines from different distributors and stuff, like the tuning part of it, what I imagine developing like the tuning, there wasn't a whole lot of knowledge behind a two-stroke in that era.
No, we started out with megaphone.
The megaphone and the tune pipe.
It's why I can't hear you. But then there got to be some individuals in the industry that were pretty sharp, and they picked up some stuff from bikes. They rode bikes. Doug Dennert, one of the guys that came to Articat with tune pipes. Maurice Robinson was one of our distributors out in Idaho Falls. Came with tune pipes, and it was remarkable where you went with those.
Yeah. Because like with the megaphone, it just
it's just an expansion chamber, but it doesn't close back off.
No, she don't get that reverse wave going.
Yeah.
Just screaming away.
It's just a cone on the front of the engine.
But it was sucking it out. It wasn't very good for fuel economy, but it give you some more speed.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And then like getting into like 71 and stuff, it's all tuned pipes, stuff like that. So that's just kind of interesting. The development, I mean, it's common knowledge for all of us nowadays, but we weren't around in that era, so it's kind of crazy looking back on them old sleds and seeing what people were doing.
Yeah.
So what was your title there, like in the late 60s there, Roger? Like, were you engineering, just fabricator, or what was the title?
Yeah, I worked in engineering directly with Edgar, and I don't know when it was. We became. Edgar went off and sold the business to Lowell Swenson in must have been 65, 66 area when I was starting to work on the Panther.
Sure.
So that's when I started heading up the development. Had some people working with me, and then later on during the late 60s and 70s, became the chief engineer of snowmobiles.
Oh, okay.
And then that moved into be vice president of engineering later on.
And you only had 1 year of engineering schooling,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I got my engineering school on the seat of the snowmobile.
Yeah.
That's probably why you're so good at it.
Yeah.
There's
But except when we would develop stuff at engineering, the guys would kind of needle me a little bit. He said, "Well, we think we're where we should be with this now. We better make sure it passes the Roger test." So then we'd have to go for a test ride.
Yeah.
what year did hand warmers come in? What was that later or what? I mean, to think back that there was no hand warmers, but then you had the idea of, man, my hands are getting cold.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just wanted to give a quick thanks to Mike Brudos and Brudos Spray Foam Insulation. If you are looking to have your barn dominium or ultimate getaway cabin insulated, give Mike a call at 608-632-4454. He's providing closed cell installation throughout the Midwest Snowbelt and beyond. He's located down in the La Crosse, Wisconsin area, and he will travel for the right job. So again, thanks to Mike Brudos and Brudos Spray Foam Insulation.
God, I don't remember what year it was. It was probably in the late 70s.
Oh, was that late? Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Like in the early 70s, like that's when people, started coming out with a lot of race sleds and a lot of trail sleds too. But like the competitive drive behind Arctic Cat, like going to Eagle River and stuff, was that kind of your main focus in the 70s and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Was the Eagle River stuff?
Yeah. Arctic Cat was blessed to have leadership that supported racing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not all the time you get that. But when Edgar supported it, when he was there, Lowell supported it. Bill Ness came to work for Arctic Cat. He's a real true friend of mine. And he had an engineering background, so he put a little discipline into our engineering system, and program. And Bill was a staunch supporter of racing. When it come time to get snowmobiles to go to the 500-mile race, Winnipeg race, you went to Bill Ness because he would always get you a snowmobile.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a pretty big racing budget.
Yeah. Is it what they say? What wins on Sunday sells on Monday?
Yeah.
Was that actually the case kind of back in the day too? Like,
Well, when you're in it and doing it, you believe it.
yeah.
As the years went by and we was in production lulls and ups and downs, we were still racing.
Yeah.
But we weren't necessarily selling as many snowmobiles.
Yeah.
So it's hard to prove that one.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Very true.
In that era, there's a lot of names that, I grew up doing a lot of the vintage stuff, but there's a lot of names in that era that, well, you're one of them. And then Larry Coltum is another one that I've always, doing the research on that and stuff and all of his sleds and what he's done. Coming into I don't know what year he started racing. Was he a engineer or?
Yeah, he started working for me in engineering in 67 or 68.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did the same thing when we had Joey on too, Roger, that I printed off some pictures.
Okay.
Just to reignite some old memories. And there's actually you with Larry back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'll put I'll actually put these pictures on the screen so people can know
And
what we're talking about.
here's the money man right there. That's Ness, Bill Ness.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
I had just seen Bubba Ness at the gas station this week, and
Really?
I told him we were going to be
But
interviewing.
they're not related, I don't think, are they?
I thought, he said they were second cousins.
Oh, they
I think.
are, huh?
Or
Well, I'll be damned.
second cousin with his dad or something.
Yeah.
Is what he said.
Bill was a real supporter of racing. Yeah, that's Larry, and there's me.
Who's this other guy here on the corner?
That's Dwayne Graham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Good old days, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that was kind of Larry Colton's heyday there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Mr. 340.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd win the 340 class handily.
yeah. In that era, the engineering of the race sleds at least were really taking off with Suzuki engines, and then starting to get into like IFS and stuff like that. Was that you have a lot of part in that?
Yeah. Yep.
So it seemed like, Roger, you're a head engineer, but you're very in depth with the racing side of it too, where you don't see that a lot with like engineers. They're just more design and R&D, but you're so in depth in the racing side of it as well.
I was so addicted that it was hard to believe, because I had about in 19. Oh, I suppose it was in the 80s sometime. I had a farm out east of Thief River Falls, and I had 80 beef cows, and I would go to work. My job was vice president of engineering and snowmobile engineering. So I'd work from 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening on snowmobiles for production snowmobiles.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait to run over to the race shop. And the race shop was out by the junk man out there now, on 59.
Oh, yep.
That's where the race shop used to be. So I'd spend from 6 in the evening until 1 o'clock
Really?
at the race shop. And then I would go home and I had to feed those doggone 80 cows. Crank up an old WD-9 McCormick that I had fire on since noon, to get it started. Feed those cows and get done at 2. And by 6, I was back at work at engineering again. So that addiction of, you had it in your mind that you were going to make a difference. Mm-hmm. What you were going to do today was going to be different than what it was before, and it's going to be better. Yep. So that addiction went from engineering to racing, and some of my best friends in life were racers,
And that's where a lot of the testing gets done to put it through the most brutal thing you can find is on the racetrack.
You'll never get it done if you don't race. And that's why I struggled so hard with when Textron came in and took over the business. They didn't have any interest in racing. They didn't have any interest in any of us old institutional knowledge guys, they just turn them out to pasture.
Yep.
And it was sad for me, and it's still sad. Because and I can't use the word we anymore because I'm not there anymore, but Arctic Cat should be a more staunch competitor now than what they are, because of the fact that the head management is not supporting it. They don't see the value of it, and it's a free gift. Racing is a free gift. You could never spend money more wisely. Yeah, but you can't get that into people's head nowadays.
Yeah. I just talked to Joey Hallstrom on the phone today, and he had pretty much the exact same take of when he left Artie Cat there, that yeah, he said it's a tough take to build something up so big and so mighty, and then to watch what it came to.
To see the passion kind of leave it, because that's what it sounds like, and like just everyone working there, like especially you, just passion behind it, and then to turn it into just another corporate company with no passion. Yeah,
Maybe I'll get young again one day.
Yeah,
there's an idea.
Get after it.
Yeah.
Get after it.
yeah, yeah,
Reignite something.
Yeah. yeah. There's. I mean, you see it somewhat at Polaris and stuff like that, but the heritage behind Arctic Cat it seems like it's kind of gotten taken away a little bit.
Yep.
So yeah, like speaking of like heritage, like doing all this stuff in the 70s, were you friendly with the competition or?
You know what? That has been a real interesting side of the story, is that Arctic Cat and Polaris always have been on the track and at race day have been staunch competitors.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get in your hair as much as I can. You know? But when it comes to race is over and the flags are flown, and friendship with the Polaris riders was a lot more prevalent than with the Skidoo riders.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And it's that way today.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think it was that way because maybe the Skidoo guys were more French Canadian, almost just?
Yeah, they had a high volume of I in their
Yeah, yeah.
relationships.
But what was the peak of Eagle River during the Snow Pro era? Because I've been there the last 2 years and seeing pictures of it from like 78, 79. It's almost unimaginable to what it looks like now.
Yeah.
But that had to have been just an unreal spectacle, almost.
Oh, it was. Yeah, sure was. I don't know when the peak of it was when we were running conventional snowmobiles, you know, and then it got to be pretty specified. It got into years there in the 80s and 90s where the snowmobiles were twin track snowmobiles, you know, and you had to have a Skidoo twin track snowmobile to win races. And
It got so specific
Yeah.
instead of just racing production sleds.
yeah, then the volume went down, then. But I don't know. They're racing regular sleds again now, you know.
Yep, with that new F3 class.
Yep.
But that is also very specific too, to where not just any person can go buy that sled or build a sled. I'd love to see them bring the production 600 class back for us to go race our stock 600s there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the entries in that last year after they cut it, but that first year they brought it out there. I think they had 15 entries in it at least. So it's not the fastest ice oval sleds they have out there, but it's going to be competitive. Everybody's going to be so close.
And that's something, you know, if you wanted to go race ovals, the production 600 class, you know, you don't have to have a specified built hand, you know.
Yeah,
sled.
it's the same sled you could race in the ditch.
Yep, exactly. So I'd like to see that one come back. That way it gives us some more of a shot to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But so like where did it go, Roger, from the peak of Snow Pro era of 78, 79, 80 into the kind of the downfall into like 81-ish, 82? Was it so weather dependent, or was it
Big. That was a big part of it. Weather was, and energy was another one part. Back in 80 and 81, you were a sinner if you had lights on your Christmas tree. You know, that's how bad energy was.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's kind of a crisis behind it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
so the energy crisis and the lack of something to run on was a big bad thing for the snowmobile industry.
Really? Oh, I never would have guessed that had that much to do with it.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, people just weren't buying snowmobiles. Basically,
No.
You couldn't. You didn't want to, and you didn't need to.
Yeah.
So wow.
It was kind of off topic, but it just popped in my head of how many different models there was in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s, the different models that you could buy.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were different chassis and stuff. So, like, I bet you had your handful in the engineering department.
Oh, yeah.
Developing different
you
chassis.
started with the economy sleds and then into the trail sleds and then the performance sleds.
Yeah.
And that was all just
And
drawings.
the mountain sleds. The mountains got to be, back about that time, mountain sleds got to be a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
People, and now the mountain sleds they're almost dangerous. The goddamn things, they go places where you shouldn't go.
That's what
Yeah.
Wesley always tells me to come out there and ride with them. And I said, I do not want to go where I know you can take me.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Yeah, you're defying gravity pretty often out there when you go out in the mountains.
Yeah. But what about like even thinking back to the eras of the 70s that everybody in their company was making snowmobiles at that time, that like the market was so flooded that even I just seen a picture of an old Ford snowmobile. I didn't even know they made those until just a couple
what?
weeks. A Ford.
Ford?
Yeah, Ford had a snowmobile for just a short span. And like we've talked about it a few times, like what's the one we always bring up? A JC Penney sled.
Oh yeah, we had a J.C. Penney sled.
Really?
Yeah. But I didn't realize it was a Ford.
I'll have to try to find that picture.
It seems like in that era that everybody was doing different stuff too. So did that kind of drive your motivation as an engineer? Come out with like the latest and greatest stuff?
Yeah.
Like I forget who was doing. I think Chaparral showed up at the racetrack with an IFS sled in like 74 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was all new technology. So did you know of that stuff when you were engineering in them days or
Just you knew of it, but nobody was taking time to apply it.
yeah.
That you'd see it at the track and you'd kind of analyze it the best you could of what kind of was different on it. And was that the era of the Kawasaki Shark too?
Yeah, 76.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because we had talked about that prior too.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like everybody was doing different stuff, and a lot of people it worked and some people didn't. So like forget like 71 Yamaha came out and won it right away, won Eagle River.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, their first year of production, I think, or it might have been their second year or something like that. But yeah, it came
Ed
out.
Shabitsky.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't really plan on winning it that day, I don't think. Yeah.
Unreal. What about the Arctic Cat plant that was in Clearbrook?
There was a crating plant.
Because I never. That's what.
Oh, and a track plant. They built tracks down there too.
Oh, really? Because that's the rice plant.
Yeah.
That's the rice plant right now, and I've always been told that that used to be an Arctic Cat facility or plant, and never knew what they did there.
Yeah.
Just tracks.
Yeah. Dale Crapo built tracks down there.
Huh. Interesting. I suppose that would have been the cleated tracks and everything, and
Yep.
huh.
Yeah, you'll probably still find rivets in that concrete.
Rivets and cleats just scattered
Yeah.
within the depths. Huh. So I got talking to Joey Hallstrom today, and I tried to get a few Joey stories. But what did you see in a young Joey Hallstrom when you told him to give you a call after he got done with his schooling in like 1983, I think it was?
Yeah. Joey was a addict too.
Oh, really?
A racing addict, yeah. And I was excited to get Joey to come on board. He when he came from school, he had been racing, and he had built his resume around graphics design, when he was in school. And so we used him for decal development. And then he also hung out with us on testing prototype stuff. I can remember giving him one of my first AFS article in 82, 83. 84 when we came out with the, in 85, came out with the front end independent front suspension, which was the horrible one that it had a shock arm and a shock pivot on there and went down to the front end down here, and not enough travel for a shock absorber, and the shocks would get hot and boil out. And, but he tested. Give him his sled, and he went out and tested and won some races with
that was actually the story that Joey told me, is that you gave him your AFS LT grade to let him go racing with.
Yeah.
And he said he couldn't believe that at the time, that you were just giving him your personal sled.
Well, we wanted to move forward.
Yeah.
And when people are interested, and then you got to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, and give this young kid a sled to go see what breaks on it.
Absolutely.
But I kind of skipped over the out of business years of Arctic Cat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were not good.
You actually ended up working at Polaris for a short time.
I worked there for 8 months.
Really?
Yeah. In 1981. They were actually Arctic Cat, or Polaris was going to build Arctic Cat snowmobiles. There was a business venture going on between Arctic Cat and Polaris when we went out of business, because we went bankrupt. Arctic Cat went bankrupt. And they were going to build. Actually, at that time, the industry, we got a pretty good feel of what people were thinking out there, because when they were going to build 12,000, they, meaning Polaris, were going to build 12,000 Arctic Cats and 6,000 Polarises. So they knew what the value of the Arctic Cat brand name was.
Yeah,
Polaris did at that time. But then the deal fell through, and I was going to be heading up the Arctic Cat side of it up there, So I was there for 8 months. And then when it fell through, Chuck Baxter said, well, Roger, we really want you to stay here and work on creating new Polaris snowmobiles. And my heart went better. And I tried it. And I remember working with Jim Burnett and Joe Burnett and the guys out in the field, and just couldn't get my heart into it.
Really?
I'd spent 20-some years of my life prior to that trying to build a snowmobile that was better than a Polaris snowmobile, better than a Skidoo snowmobile, better than another snowmobile.
Yeah.
And to just put that out of your head and jump on another one was too much for me to handle. So I went back to Thief River Falls.
What did you do in the meantime there? Otherwise,
When I went back to Thief River Falls, I got a hold of Dennis Zulowski, and we started building a front end system that we could attach to all, because we'd sold a lot of LTGs at that time with leaf strings. And we built a system that we could attach to an LTG. And so that was coming along in the works. And then we got the group of guys together that some people didn't have to borrow money. I had to borrow money. A bunch of us put in $65,000 a piece. And we said, let's try and build Arctic Cat snowmobiles again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when that was in '83.
That was the condo club.
Yeah, that was a condo club. Yeah.
So the TRF-6 is kind of.
Yeah.
So that was the question I had: is if it was all self-funded, or if it was investors brought in, or if it.
Well, we all, a bunch of us that, I think it was Bill Ness, Ole Tweet, Dean Lorenz, Brian Esposito, Dennis Zulowski, David Thompson, Roger Skime. That's probably about it. And we all brought in $65,000 wherever you could find it.
Yep.
I borrowed mine from the Union State Bank. And
It turned out to be quite a good investment.
Yeah, it was a good investment.
Yeah. $65,000 at that time.
Yeah, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy crap.
Wow. I can't imagine.
And then to come back, and I don't know the exact number, but I think it was 1,500 LT grays or something like that.
2675 we built the first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was still
Tigres, and it was just the old technology.
yeah, the 81,
Yeah.
just different stickers and seats.
Yeah, that's what it was. Different decal.
Yeah. And it was still,
there was the whole goddamn message of the industry right there.
Yeah.
Brand had a lot of meaning. Arctic Cat brand was really strong at that time.
so
Yeah, really strong.
we kind of talked about it on our show before. Larry Colton went out in 81 and proved that the LT gray was
Yeah, he went to Alexandria and won.
yeah, and then come back in 84 and it's still, you know, probably the best machine you could buy them years.
Because that's the sled you race in the vintage class, isn't it, Kyle?
Race LT grays. Yep. Got a lot of them. Yeah. But no, that's kind of my favorite era is right there. So
Yeah, because that's where you and Joey really talked about LT grays of what Joey raced when he came back and raced in 2011, 2012 there at the I-500.
yeah, and that's why it's a really cool story what Larry Colton did there, come out of retirement and go down to Alexandria and win that stuff. So yeah, pretty neat. But yeah, then getting into the 85 stuff, you guys already had that stuff developed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we was working on it at home in my garage and in David Thompson's garage. And
there was a lot of models that year too, so you guys had your hands full in 82, 83, stuff like that.
To come, like, I know Joey had talked about it when he started in 83, 84 there. Like, it was just a small startup again. And it, like, did you have any thoughts of the prior years of going out of business, or it was just forward?
yeah, it was. You had so much adrenaline in you. It was traumatic days when we were out of business.
Yeah.
I can remember when it was going down. I had 70, 80 people working for me when it was going down in 81. And Ken Severinsen was brought in as the CEO by Irvin Jacobs, who owned the company at that time, or had the most shares in it. And Ken was actually Irvin's hitman to shut her down, and so it'd come and this month, you got to lay off some people. Let's go 20 people. So I'm thinking, Jesus, that's a big chunk of people. And another month goes by, and you got to lay off some more people. And I think it was the third or the fourth time came and he said, you gotta lay off down to 10 people. So I kept the engine guy, I kept the chassis guy, I kept the styling guy, and I kept a suspension guy. And so I had them intact there yet in case things would turn around so we could start firing up again.
Yeah.
And then Ken comes over one day and he said, well, you got to let the rest of them go. It'll be, you'll be alone over here for a while. And
One sole engineer.
well, and I was alone in that building. And I can remember when he walked out the door, I followed him down the stairway, and the engine shop was right around the bend, around the corner. There was a 440 lightweight snowmobile engine sitting there, and I just tore it all apart. I mean, right down to the bare bones. And I don't know why, but I did it. Bawling my eyes out as I'm doing it, you know. Put it back together again. So it was traumatic times. Mm-hmm. It was lonesome times, sad times, bad times.
How long did you have to go with being the one engineer?
Oh, and then they said you're done. So then that's when they said we got a plan with Roso. Roso wants to build Arctic snowmobile. So then I went up there.
Sure.
So
So then you were sent off when they finally ended up just closing the doors. Then.
yeah.
Wow.
Around that time was when John Rowland had bought all the crankshaft turning stuff. And I'd kind of talked to John, we're friends, and he said that, that's right, when he was kind of getting out of it or whatever. And do you have any good John Rowland stories?
John was a great guy. Yeah, John was a real good engine man.
Yeah, he's still doing it. They stopped in there this summer. Yeah, he's still in there. Yeah, his son Eric does a great job. Actually, just got an engine back from him today.
Did you?
Yeah, for our ZRT stuff that we're building for Pine Lake. So,
okay.
Yeah, stay in good touch with them guys. But
what are you building for Pine Lake?
96 ZRT. So they have this
800 or 600?
600. So they have this triple class that they come up with, and
Really?
it's all triples, and it's pretty much an open 600 triple class is what it is. And
02 and older.
Yeah.
Open 600.
yeah,
So we have a 01 ZRT 600.
yeah, mine's a 96, and I widened the front end out on it a little bit, and worked the skid frame and put track in it, and just got the engine back today. So yeah, we're building old stuff now.
Well, that damn company won't do nothing for you. You'll have to do it yourself.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be it. I think we're expecting it to probably get 10 to 15 triples out there again this year.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think when we did the 440 class there at Pine Lake 2 years ago, I think that kind of slowed down a little bit this previous year, and then I think this triple class will pick right back up to where it was. Because it was, I know when we won that 440 race, you were standing right there when we crossed the finish line. It had been pretty cool seeing those old 97s go run around the track again. I tell you what, I probably have more fun on that old 97 than I do on our newer sleds. It just, on the ice, it handles like a dream.
Yep.
A bad dream?
No, a good dream.
A good dream.
A very good dream. It's like if I could make my new sled handle like this 97 does, it would be unreal. But no, that's where a lot of people are putting a lot of money into these old sleds. I know even Zach Herfindahl is building one right now too.
Yep.
He said his is a little more modified than ours is going to be. I know he talked to Greg Spalding about pipes and everything too. So right now we just got a set of 9200 Black Magic pipes fit up to ours. So that's what we're playing with. And then Kyle's brother Colin actually bought one of the factory Arctic Cat Sioux I-500 sleds. 05, I think you said it was?
Yeah, it was roughly around that area, something like that. But
Justin Winter raced that one at the Sioux.
Oh my!
So that's the one that his brother is building.
Yeah, Yeah, so we'll put on a show for you at Pine Lake this year.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Do you got any ZRT tips for us? Any tips?
No.
No?
Oh man. Yeah.
My tip days, I think, are over.
Yeah.
Unless I get resurrected.
No.
So when I talked to Joey, we'll jump ahead a little bit here. When I talked to Joey on the phone, he was telling me a story about 92. You're up in Alaska, and you're kind of the sole test rider of the Thundercat.
Yeah, 93.
Oh, 93.
93 Thundercat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up there 1 week with the engineers, and then they had to go home because there was deer season back here in Minnesota, you know.
Yeah.
And then the race team was supposed to come. When they left, they were supposed to replace them with the race team.
Yeah.
And I think the race team got hung up at the Bush Club in Anchorage. So I was left alone up there on the ice. And so I said, well, shit, I ain't going to sit there alone all day and do nothing. So I had a 93 Thundercat, and I said, we're trying to test tracks, so I'll test tracks until they show up. And I went out, I put on, it was that much snow on the ice, went like the wind, that goddamn thing went, you know. I filled up gas tank 7 times, and put 300 miles on in 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, I got 300 miles on. And when I went to bed that night, my head was going,
That was what Joey said, that Kirk actually brought you to the doctor?
yeah. Good God, I had vertigo, you know.
Yeah.
They gave me a little pill and put them in something. In 45 minutes, I was brand new again.
Really?
What the heck?
Yeah, that's what Joey said. He said Kirk actually had to bring him to the doctor because But Joey said there was a stack of blown tracks about 5 feet tall.
Yeah, you know, there's a real lesson to be learned for vendors on that there. Yokohama had all the track business of the whole industry.
Really?
The tracks were all Yokohama tracks. No matter what manufacturer or what brand or what model, they were all Yokohama tracks. And we was getting power like out of that Thundercat, you know, that God, it was real power.
Yeah.
And shit, I'd spit a track out the back, you know, And I'd tell the guy from Yokohama, you better get up here, we got problems. You have to get this fixed, or I've got to look for another supplier.
Yeah.
We are the best track manufacturer you ever will find, he said. Oh, okay. I just kept riding and blowing them out. But then I got Dennis Quartermont from Camouflage worked with me, and we got tracks that I could go run, never spit them out the back. You know? So what is supposed the industry and right now is all
Camouflage
tracks.
Yep.
So now who shouldn't stand up and pay attention to that?
Yeah.
Maybe that little Yokohama engineer should take a second take at it. Yeah.
Think back to a phone call from 1993.
Yeah.
Did you have any close calls spitting tracks out the back? Because that's always my biggest. That's
You know, the closest call I had was on Lake in the Woods.
Oh, really?
I spit a track out by the blinker. I went out and then you're on the goddamn skis and slide rails.
Yep.
Going like stink, you know, no brakes. There's no brakes anymore. There's nothing going up. We're right up on the bank by the. There's a resort there, you know.
Yeah.
Like I know Brian Deerdall has said when you spit a track out the back, it will actually pick up speed.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, don't break it anymore then.
No, that I don't fear much on the ice for the Lake Lemont stuff, but that is one thing that I have in the back of my mind sometimes of if a track spits out the back.
Yeah.
Of what precautions I would take or what measures I would take in that circumstance.
Hang on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna throw your feet down on the ice and try to stop yourself. Like that's not gonna do much.
You could Flintstone stop yourself to a certain extent.
A little bit, I think.
I mean, slow enough at least.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was a good story that Joey said to bring up. I couldn't imagine a stack of blown tracks.
Yeah. Brand new tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you just kept riding and blowing them out, like just to stack them up that high.
And he said you were the one there changing them too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like that's no small task to change tracks on those old things neither.
Mm-hmm.
So he said Yamaha was also on that lake testing that day too.
Yeah.
And he said that you guys were at the restaurant that night or something, and one of the Japanese guys asked Joey, he's like, "Who is going wide open on the Thundercats all day?"
Yeah.
Yeah. That was what's his name asked. Ito asked who drives the Thundercat, and I said I drive. Yeah. Then they guys started buying snowmobiles from us, you know.
Yeah.
Yamaha did. We'd go out testing, and Ito would show up, and he said, Ito here! Oh, good. How are you, Ito?
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, that. It's funny on how it goes full circle like that to meet somebody in the early '90s like that, and then have it come through when the Yamaha Arctic Cat partnership came through. So the other pictures I got here for you, Roger, we'll just kind of go through them here. So that one got a little cropped off, but is you and Kirk and Brad Paik and I think Herfindahl.
No, this is Jeremy File, then Herfindahl.
Yep.
This is Mike Cleddy here, and here's Brad Paik over here.
Yep. But yeah, a young.
This is a 1993, I suppose. Huh? 4.
Would you know, Kyle?
Yeah, it looks like a 93. Yeah.
93 was the first year. They were fast.
Yeah.
Yep. That was another. Joey said you guys were testing bumpers, just at your farm here, where you were cutting the bumper out, cutting a piece of plastic out, lowering the bumper just an inch, and gaining a mile an hour.
Yeah.
Running up and down the gravel road.
Yeah, running up and down the township road over here. Beltran. You know what? That shape of that hood was a tough shape to beat. That was a fast hood.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we built the next ZR, it was a bulkier looking thing.
Yep.
That slowed us down.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And was there any thoughts to redesigning it, knowing you lost that speed?
Yeah,
or
well, Ash, you kind of bit the bullet once you spent the tooling, you know.
you're so committed. You're so committed to that.
Then you had to go with it, and then when you went to the next year, you get on it again, you know.
And is that where kind of the Firecat look would have came in?
That's
then?
when the Firecat would have came right after this.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, 2003, the Firecat would have came.
Yep.
He was slippery. He was fast, son of a gun. 700 Firecat was really fast.
That's one sled that if I could find a nice 03 F7, that's one I would pick up if I could find one of those.
Yeah, we were just talking about the F7 and the Firecat on the way here.
Yeah.
How nice of a sled and how we all like that.
Yep. Because you had the narrow track in it, the 13.5-inch wide track that helped with speed too. That's where I'm a little nervous about your guys' triple. With that triple, it's got the Firecat bodywork on it as well.
Yeah.
On theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, all we got to do is wait for ice now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get it out there, see what it can do.
What about a young Mike Coletti? What was young Mike Coletti? Because I just know Mike from the last 5-6 years of being Team Arctic. What was a young Mike Coletti like?
Well, he started out with Kirk as Kirk's mechanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought somebody else was Kirk's mechanic. Al Shimpa.
Shimpa was too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I see Kirk here, and I think of what an awesome freaking rider. I've tried to race against him, you know, in the woods and stuff.
Yeah.
He just kind of sneaks away from me. Pretty soon you can't find his test. He'd take me up for testing in Alaska, and we always had to test after midnight, at night, you know, darker and shit. And there was fucking grizzly bears up there. And I would just hate that. And him and Brad, they thought that was a big joke, you know, that I couldn't keep up with them, and they'd put us in their tail to disappear.
They were messing with you.
Yeah, you couldn't have messing with me. And we got to the lake, we got over to, what was the name of that camp over there? Can't remember. Anyway, we got there, and we were to stay overnight at that camp 56 miles from Tulsona, where we started, you know, and coming into the camp, there's a river, and Brad squirted across, Kirk squirted across slower, and I'm third one in line, you know. So about that time, my speed is down pretty good, you know, and I'm getting into the river, and it's going blah, 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 blah. Then standing on the I'm getting out of my snowmobile and standing in the freaking water, you know, way up on my waist. Open up the hood, and Kirk says, "What are you doing? You got fish underneath your hood." Yeah, they messed with me a lot.
I couldn't imagine having to get a sled out of the river.
Yeah.
Oofta. And then you're soaking wet being through.
Yeah.
Oofta.
Oh, man.
We had some good racing in West Yellowstone. I can remember being out there at West Yellowstone in 69, 70, just when this was coming. And we all took off on the airport, and we had to cross a creek out on the west end of the airport. And it was Charlie Lofton and myself and Billy Hagan and Miller and Burkle, Tony Burkle, Jack Germain, a whole bunch of us. And we all got plowed into that creek, all stuck.
Every single one?
Stuck. Every one of us stuck. So he said, here's the plan. We'll help each other out, and we'll set the snowmobiles here, and we'll get back, and we'll run for it, and we'll take off. Jack, about the fifth snowmobile we pulled out of the creek was Jack Germain. And he got a snowmobile up there, and I could see his eyeballs, you know, and he would jump down his handlebars, and he was going to take off.
Yeah.
Billy Hagan reached, that freaking arm, it looked like it extended out 8 feet. His arm went out like that. He grabbed the back bumper and drug him back into the hole. And we left him there. Then we went racing.
Really?
Yeah. Then we was going good. Charlie and I was we had the free air 600s in our sleds. Mm-hmm. And Charlie was, he was a little faster than I was. And then I came around one time and he's standing still, and I said, "What's going on?" We were ahead, you know. He said, "Oh, the motor stuck." So I went around the next lap, another lap, and I thought, I said, that's kind of crazy that Charlie just sit there like that. So I said, get on when I came by. Get on my back. And we went for another couple of laps. Three laps. And look back, there's motor skis. They were getting right close to us again, you know. And I said, see you, Charlie. I said, and I pushed him off. Then I went and picked him up after the race. Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, man.
Racing in
poor old Charlie.
Yeah.
He died. He flew his airplane into the ground.
Holy
Really?
shit.
Yeah. Right up here.
Wow. Well, that's terrible. But yeah, how many laps did he sit there after the race? After you pushed him on? Like how long was he laying there in the snow?
No, I went back and got him pretty soon.
No, I thought it was the whole race. He sat there for a couple hours.
You won the race anyways. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But you were going all the way out to West Yellowstone, even in 69, 70 there. Wow. I wouldn't have thought that there was that much travel going on in like the late 60s of going to Eagle River and going to West Yellowstone.
That was a big one, wasn't it? And then all the way out in Boonville, New York, too, right?
Yeah.
I've heard Tim Bender talk about Boonville.
Yeah. It's a really interesting town, and every time that I would go out there, I'd always think back. You know, I used to work out there, and
Where? In Boonville?
close to it. Yep, close to Boonville. But I
Did
was
you work with him?
no, no. I worked for a company or whatever that was traveling or whatever, and
You cleared right-of-ways for
right-of-way
like
clearing.
power lines.
yeah. So, but I'd show up in Boonville, and I think of how far it is to here, and driving 1970s pickups and stuff out way the heck out there just for a snowmobile race is crazy.
Probably the cabs, even just the cabs of the pickups are probably didn't help
Yeah.
the hearing at
Yeah.
all back in the day neither.
Tin cab, yeah. I think it's 1,500, 1,600 miles, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got another couple pictures here for you, Roger. This one, not sure on the year. It looks like you're looking pretty hard at a Skidoo, maybe looking at the M10 skid frame.
Yep. Yeah. Here's Jamie Answer there.
Oh, is it, okay. We didn't quite know who that was.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking, I think that was that one of your skills of just looking at something and just like looking at how you could improve on it or just.
Why did you do it that way?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see what that would do, you know.
Yeah. Or, I could fix it I can make it do that even now that I know how that looks.
Yeah. Yeah. It caught me on this one.
Because was that kind of innovated when that M10 skid frame came out with the car bricks and everything? Was that kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that kind of thing? Or
It was innovative.
really? It is cool on how something like that comes through, and it's just like something nobody had thought of just yet.
Jared and David are pretty clever guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there any
Clever guys.
like the engineering back then, was it pretty secretive?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up secretive because Jared had an idea on a skid frame, and he wanted me to experience it, but I couldn't see it. I could not look at. I couldn't sit there and look at it like that.
Yeah.
So he said, "Here's what we're going to do." He said, "We're going to go up on the Taconite Trail. Meet me there about midnight." He said, "It's dark out, and we're going to put on 300 miles."
Nah.
Oh, okay. So I get in my pickup and I went up there, and it felt good.
Yeah.
You know, and.
What was the
Never did get to see what it was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Was it the M10?
No, it was after the M10.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So my dad fit up a M10 into his 07 Yamaha Apex because it mounted right up in there, and he liked it for the ride. It rode really nice, but it didn't take the square edged G outs very well. But I mean, being it is a heavy 4-stroke snowmobile as well. But he said that it rode awesome, but it said just on them really square edge hard hits, it didn't take that the way he thought it would have. So I don't know if that was just missed something there or if it just worked
Where
well.
do you get these pictures?
Those I was just looking online.
Really?
Yep. And just
You got these online too?
yep.
These are cool.
Yeah, you can have them if you want.
Can I?
Yep. Oh yeah.
This I really like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this because he's gone now. Bill is dead, you know.
Yep. Yeah, that's what Bubba said. He had just passed away a year or so ago. But yeah, I got a couple more.
I just gave Herfindahl this jacket right here.
Yeah.
77.
That was what we were wondering too. We said that on the ride up here
If
too.
that was the jacket that
Yeah,
you give her.
Herfindahl was up here one day and he said, "I want one of your jackets." And I said, "I got a closet there full of them, you know."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, take your pick." So he was picking on this one, and then he looked at the 81, 80 when we went on our business, and I said, "Well, that's kind of a sad jacket there.
Yeah.
You have to make up your mind what you want."
Yeah.
that was
It was a nice jacket, that 81, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was when he was up here. That was the same weekend we had him on the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, that was when he had that orange snowmobile with him that he didn't get to race the I-500 with. He had that in the trailer. So after we were done talking, we went out and looked at it with him. So that was a pretty neat piece of a collection there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right around that era there. You're put into the Hall of Fame, ain't it? 90, 95?
Yep. January 95.
Yeah.
So almost a full year before I was born, you're already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. It was a full year.
I shouldn't even be sitting there. I should be dead, huh? Holy smokes.
I mean, for 81 though, I mean, you're doing great.
Oh, your memory is awesome.
Yeah, running this big farm and the memory of everything. And I mean, what's the secret?
Yeah.
Just keep racing, I guess.
Yeah.
Keep racing.
You have an addiction. You have an addiction.
But a healthy one of racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going here. So not sure on this one on who the Skidoo racer is.
Yeah. It's
Is that Todd Wolf?
Todd Wolf. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
That's who we thought it was.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Why is he holding his arm back? I wonder.
Yeah, I'll have this picture up in the video feed so people know what we're talking about here.
I don't know.
But I see he's got kind of a box phone that he's kind of holding.
Yeah.
And is that a young Mike Carver?
This is Mike Carver.
I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Todd Wolf is an awesome guy.
Yeah.
He really is a nice guy. He really is a nice guy. We got to be real good friends.
Not quite sure what's going on with that picture. Why he's holding him by the arm there
I don't know either.
on the phone as well. Kind of interesting.
Because I was congratulating him, I'm sure, of winning he came across the lake up at Lake of the Woods and he won.
That must have been 99 then.
I think 98, 99 is the years he won it. Yeah. But yeah, even a young Mike Carver standing there is pretty funny too, to the Mike that we know today.
Yeah.
Who is this guy here?
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
Maybe somebody would know if somebody knows watching the video. Maybe
Looks a little bit like Ray Muncher.
Yeah, who knows? Someone might know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Would you have any Gerald Deerdahl stories?
You know, not really stories, but Gerald used to come up to the plant.
Mm-hmm.
Smart. I never. He's one of the smartest people I've seen on snowmobiles.
Really?
Yeah, really is. He'd come up there and he had clutching stuff that he'd done that was just put life into shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was. And he did it all by himself.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, with me working for Sharon and Brady Deerdall for Deerdall Construction, like I'm always interested to hear any Gerald stories there are, because we even asked Joey about him too, and he said, he mentioned the old Cougar that Gerald always usually liked to race.
Oh, a Cougar?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he said he had a good setup in a Cougar. Is that right, Kyle?
Yeah. Cougar 500 fan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he brought that up.
Yeah.
So it must have been something to it.
Gerald was good at clutching and stuff, but like way back in the day, say on like this Panther here, they were a set helix angle, and then
What?
a set helix angle.
Yeah,
on them.
yeah.
And like, were you a part of the development on clutches and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and
yeah.
putting different angles?
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of crazy to me on how that stuff, because it's all just magic how it all works. You know? but to get somebody who would kind of help develop it, it's such a crazy knowledge that you got to have to kind of, and then to develop it. So
Gerald Deerdall, Marv Odie, Steve Hull. If I had to pick three guys that were keen and made the difference on what drive systems were going to be, those are the three guys.
Really?
Yeah,
That is cool.
Marv worked for me, and Deerdall worked for himself. Steve Hull worked. He raced for Polaris, and then he raced for us for a long time. And I got to know him, and he was just a whiz bang on drive system.
Mm-hmm. Were you a part of the development of the clutch, the secondary clutch, where you could change out the helix?
Yeah.
Well, like in the 70s and stuff, they were all pretty much set at one angle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For all the different CCs, everything.
Yeah.
So, it's kind
Is
of.
that just thinking of just simplicity of like, hey, I'd like to change this, or just what if we changed it and made it simpler for the consumer to change it?
Yeah. Well, clutching was just starting to grow.
Yeah.
The cams that were in those old sleds were right around 51 degrees. 51 degrees.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now most of your cams are 43, 44, 45. So they got to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
I won't give out the certain angles that are in my sled though.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, share.
Yeah.
No, those are secrets that we keep on the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another one here is when you raced the 99
Oh,
I-5.
yeah. Oh, my God. This son is a real dork out there. It would fall off the pipe. I'd be going down Lake. I remember riding right alongside Buck Storley's dad. Whatever Storley was his last name.
So yeah, I wrote on the back of it too. It was 99 I-500.
Yeah.
You decided to race it the night before the race.
Yeah.
All the gear in that picture is borrowed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. We was on Lake of the Woods on the point there, and there was a sled in the trailer, and Jesus Christ, I should probably race that sled.
Because you raced it to help him with carburation
issues
and shock issues.
Yeah.
So you wanted to feel it for yourself.
Yeah, and the carburation never did get fixed because I burned it down right out here. I burned it down right at the corner over here by the store.
Oh man.
Yeah, there was something else. Yeah, I borrowed everybody's clothes and boots and helmet and goggles. The guy does some dumb things, don't you?
How many other times did you race the I-500 before that?
Oh, 3, 4 maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with those type of snowmobiles.
Yeah.
And I never did place any higher than 8, I don't think.
Really?
Yep.
What is your finishing record? How many times did you finish? How many times did you?
Oh, usually finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This picture. No, that picture there.
Or
That's 66X.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the last race I run.
08? Or
Yeah. Oh no, 10.
10? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Huh.
That one, I was 66 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, on a Snow Pro 500, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Now I got to race again when I'm 85 years old.
Yeah. There we go.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
You could do it. You could make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make this happen.
We'll put you back out there on a 99 ZR 440.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. We'll even borrow you our gear. But jumping back in time, so like at the early 500s and stuff, Dale Cormican was
Oh, I liked him.
he's killing it on a Panther.
He was funny.
Yeah.
He'd ride the course where nobody else was riding.
Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't follow the trail. He'd be out of the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just popped in my head seeing Panthers winning.
Yeah, he won 2 years on that on a sled like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that takes a tough guy to, do the race in that amount of time.
On a sled like that?
Yeah.
I remember when he won, and then we got to go to Germany to JLO Motor Company. They brought us over there to tour Germany. We went down. We started out of Hamburg, Rodenburg, Heidelberg, and then we got down to Berlin. And then we decided we were going to go into Berlin. Russia was still controlling Berlin at that time.
Yeah.
So we took the bus in through there. The Russian guard was standing outside with his rifle straight up like this. And Dale walked up to, "Can I take a picture with you?" The guy didn't move his head, didn't wink, didn't blaze, didn't say nothing. Just said nothing. Yeah. I said, "Dale, get out of there. You're going to get butt stroked." He's crazy.
Oh, man. So that's around the time Roger Jansen was racing too.
Yeah, he was wet too, and his wife, what's her name? Yeah, they were both there.
Yeah. So was it Roger Jansen that I think it was at Eagle River or the I-500 where he won a Porsche?
Yeah, he won the Porsche.
Yeah. Was that
at Eagle River?
Eagle River, yeah. And was that on a Panther chassis?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they gave away a Porsche to the winner.
Really?
Yeah, and Roger Jansen won it. Yeah.
Wow.
And then was it 79 or something like that at the cat party, and they had the Snow Pro there, and then they had that Porsche sitting in the background, didn't they? Something in like that. They had the Porsche there, and then the new Snow Pro and stuff.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
It's been a long time since they gave away a vehicle.
Yeah.
Would have been when Brian Deerdahl won that
Tahoe or a Blazer.
A Blazer.
Yeah.
Yep. 01.
2000.
Oh yeah, because Troy Taggart won it in 01. So yeah, it would have been 2000.
Yep.
And Brian said he beat the hell out of that Blazer. Oh, it was a lease, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a 1 year lease.
Yeah. Joey said you had liked Brian Deerdahl. You said he had a special feel for a sled.
He sure did.
And like you wanted him to come work for Arctic Cat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought that was surprising.
I felt so bad. It was in a year after this year, and he was running over here, not very far from the ranch here, and motor blew up on him, and I picked him up and I visited, and just the nicest guy you ever seen, you know.
Yep. Hey guys, just wanted to give a quick thanks to Dohrn Hay and Straw. They have wheat straw bales for sale, feed grade or bedding quality. Straw is rotary combined, and they deliver all throughout the Midwest. They deliver their straw by the truckload on their own trucks, so there is no middleman. Give Dylan Dohrn a call at 507-696-1137. Thanks again to Dohrn Hay and Straw.
Brady just told me a interesting story in the year 2000 when Brian won it. They kind of got together the night before the final day because Brian was about a minute behind Todd Wolf in the year 2000, and he said that there's a real rough stretch of road, and that's where Brian ended up catching Todd Wolf and passing him. But he said that Todd Wolf would let off the throttle, every jump, and he said if you can hold the throttle wide open and just use the brake so the clutches stay engaged, full engagement, you think you can make up a minute at a time on that rough stretch of road. And sure enough, that's where Brian passed him.
Really?
Yeah, the clutches stayed engaged so the motor didn't have to work to
wind back out again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think it was Joey that told him that or something around that.
And Zach has talked about that because there's been pictures of Zach with the throttle wide open and the brake light on.
Yeah.
And he says he's controlling the clutch almost like a clutch of a dirt bike almost.
Yeah.
I've watched many races, enjoyed every one of them, but I think I get the biggest high out of watching Herfindahl race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched him up at World one time. It was rougher than terrible rough. And he was just joom.
So
He was so far ahead of everybody. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. I think it was John Sandberg got a quote from you. It was like, I think 2015 that you'd said you're watching Herfindahl do things on a sled you'd never seen before.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I texted Zach also that we were coming up here, and Zach was wondering on how fast you've got your new Harley trike going.
I haven't got it very fast. I got up to 100.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good.
enough.
That's
Yeah.
a good enough. Yeah.
But he said you've been very influential to him. That the post race phone calls and some of the most memorable words he's had in his career that came from you.
Yeah, I really, and I feel so helpless. I want to help him, and I can't. I'm not there anymore. But it's.
Would they let you in there or go knock on the door? Just say, let me in.
They let you in.
I can help you.
Yeah.
But no, like competing against Zach, it's unreal to watch what he does in the ditch, and that's where it's I don't even have a chance in the ditch doing what he's doing. I've asked him many times of like, how are you doing it when you can't see? It's gray, it's snow dust, and he literally told me he just held the throttle and he closed his eyes. It's like I don't want nothing to do with that. I'll chance that on the lake where I know there's no rocks or stumps or telephone poles to hit, but not in the ditch. In the ditch, it's unreal. What do you think? It's just one of those generational talents that just have a certain feeling on a sled.
Yeah.
Like to talk about like dirt bikes, like of a Ricky Carmichael or anything, is unreal. Mm-hmm. And I also asked another very close friend of yours, Wes Selby. Told him we were coming up here, and he asked me on how you like hiking in Colorado.
Oh, God. He tried to kill me in Colorado. We would crawl up a damn mountain to look at a waterfall. He said, just a little ways over here. I'm short of air when I'm out there. I got a heart problem, And I said, I can't go any much farther. Oh, just a little ways. And we kept trucking, and we kept trucking. We finally got there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Where did you and Wesley became quite close? Was that when he started working at Artie Cat? Is that when that relationship started?
I knew him when he was racing out west by himself, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been that long.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you a week don't go by that I don't get a call from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Wes.
I gotta coach him better though. He screws up, but he gets a nice girlfriend, then he loses her. He gets another one, he loses her. kind of piss poor coach, I tell you.
That was a good one. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, Wes has became quite a good friend of mine, especially when I started with Artie Cat. He was just being a semi-pro kid, getting fifth. Yeah, he sure helped me out a lot. So I really appreciated that from him, and even that my first year leading Pine Lake, and I cracked that heat exchanger on my 4-stroke. I remember that you and Cletty came over to me right as I pulled off and was diagnosing the issue with me and Dad, and even Herfindahl. Later that night, he offered me, he's like, hey, whatever happened or whatever went wrong with it, just let me know and I'll help you. So I've always appreciated that with like Wesley and Herf on how much they've helped and how much they want to help the other Artie Cat racers. Yep. So it's always nice to see the team try to maintain the team aspect of helping everybody, helping all the racers. Yeah. Even just being... At that time, I was an overweight semi-pro kid.
How old are you, Gunner?
28 now.
Jeez.
Yep.
Just a pup. How do you spell your last name? Your first name, E or A-R?
E-R.
E-R.
Yep.
How about Arlo then? How do you spell that?
Oof. It's A-R-L-A-U-D.
Yeah. See, and I just go A-R-L-O because I get it.
That's exactly how we put it. It's
pretty much, yeah.
I didn't come up with the spelling of it or how it's pronounced. I wish I could change it.
You weren't responsible.
No, I wasn't responsible for that. Yep. My dad kept telling us, "Oh, I think it's French," and we did one of them ancestry things.
Well, it is a French word. Does not mean we're French, though.
We are not even close to being French.
Our whole lives we thought we were French because of our last name. It's just the name. We are not French. Yeah.
You don't have to change your name. It changes every race week.
So what have you been doing? What have you been doing to get ready for this
marathon?
Marathon.
Oh, I've been
crazy.
Just running.
You got to do something mentally first. You got to get that straightened out.
Yeah. I think that's why I started doing it, to try to straighten that out. But just after work, miles, running down the road.
Last Friday it was 20 miles, wasn't it?
Yep.
Just 20 practice miles, just to go out and practice.
Yep, just by myself.
So how far is the marathon?
26 miles.
26 miles.
Yep.
And he's shooting for 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yep.
So today's Friday when we're recording this, and tomorrow Saturday, October 12th, Brody's going to try the Bemidji Blue Ox Marathon for the second time.
Yeah. I did it last year, and 12 minutes off my pace last year. So it's like, well, I got to try it again, try to get my goal of 3.5 hours. So
it's that racing addiction. Just
I love it.
A different form.
I love it.
I'm not on a sled. I'm just using my feet and pushing through.
But Brody raced a lot when he was a young kid, like 5, 6, 7 years old, and got out of it. But we actually got him on a sled again last year for the Pine Lake race for the classics class, and
it was fun as hell. Yeah, especially like racing against my friends, racing against Kyle. Like God, it was a fun time. Yeah.
He said just holding it wide open across the lake is just a feeling that you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, like when do you get to do that on anything? On a motorcycle, car, nothing. But on a sled, snowmobile racing, wide open, wind just flying past you. Like there's nothing else. Like where else can you do something like that?
So I got a few other pictures here, Roger. So this one...
That's a condo crew.
Oh, is.
That's condo.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It didn't. There was no descriptions with that.
Brian Esposito, Oli Tweet, Roger, Dennis, Dean Lawrence, and David Thompson.
And that's the millennial edition.
Oh yeah, it's a millennial sled too. Yeah.
There's actually one of those for sale on Facebook last week. And they only wanted like $800 for it, but it had sat out in the sun since it was brand new.
Bummer.
Yeah. And it did not look even close to that. And it's like the hood is the centerpiece of that sled, so it's like they let it just go to waste. So that was kind of a bummer to see, because usually there was one of those that was in pristine condition a few years ago, and I think the guy wanted over $10,000 for it.
Here's what probably one of the smartest snowmobile engineers you'll find too.
Who's that?
Don't you know him?
No, not from that picture. No.
Dennis Zulowski. Z-Man. And you know what? He worked for me for years and years, and I just loved him. And then we had to add the new generation of engineers, you know, the guys with the keyboard and CAD system. And Dennis could not accept those people.
Really?
No. And I'd say, Dennis, you gotta, I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, please work with them, mentor them, give them everything that you know so they can use the tool that they come with in their toolbox to build a better snowmobile.
Yep. Because before that, it was all just drawings.
Yeah, and he would say, I can't do it. They're wrong, he said. I said, you don't know that they're wrong. I said, give them a chance. And I get 2 years I had to have when I'd review we'd have our compensation reviews, you know. And I'd tell him, the first year I told him, Dennis, you got to change, do something to help me out there. He didn't do nothing. Second year, he didn't do nothing. Third year, I said, Dennis, this is the worst thing I have to do in my whole life, but I have to ask you to leave the company.
Really?
Yeah. And we walked him out the door. And he's still a very good friend, but he just could not accept the fact that somebody else maybe had a good idea.
Yeah. How did, because you've literally been from the start of snowmobiles to the present day. How did the technology change from doing all the engineering on the just drawing it on papers to the computers and like I'm sure with Edgar all the machines were like manual lathes and manual mills and and now everything's more automated.
Yep.
I mean that has to be unreal to look back.
It's astonishing is what it is to look back and think that you'd never have thought when we were drawing on the floor with a chalk that we would continue building sleds like that, you know. Yeah.
And when Edgar tells you to build something, is that just like a manual mill and a manual lathe that you were working with then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No CNC.
No.
No computer program.
Yeah.
That's a lost art too.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Do we think if we gave you a manual mill and a lathe, you'd be able to whip up some old parts like you use?
I think so.
Yeah, that's not a lost. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
You don't lose that. Huh? That is cool. So I got just the last picture here. This is one of my favorite pictures of me that's ever been taken. Was you came over and congratulated me my second time getting second place at Pine Lake. That was so that was also the same weekend that I won the Pro Open class on Saturday. We won the Pro 440 class right before that, but then Dan Revering beat me in that Pro Stock final there, and Dan put a whipping on me.
What were you riding here?
That was my 2015 four-stroke on that day. But and even our Kyle standing.
Recognize that guy.
That's you.
Kyle standing
Who
there.
is this?
That's a friend of ours.
That's Ben Yort. He's actually a maintenance man at Team Industries in Bagley. So that's one of my favorite pictures that's been taken. That I like. I like that picture.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Well, no, we were pretty close to winning, so it was
but
a good day.
It was a good day.
Could have been a little bit better.
But still, overall.
Yep.
Yeah. Good weekend.
Yeah, good weekend. There you go.
But no, that's one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah. That's Herfindahl sled, you 312.
Yep.
And David Brown.
Yeah, that was the slush race. That was, you could see all the ice that's built up on my back of my jacket and everything. because that was the race, we were coming through like 100-yard stretch of just pure water.
Yeah.
Just splashing through it.
Oh yeah, coming towards the coming back from the cattails.
Yeah. And the back of my jacket had gotten so frozen, it was just stiff. And I thought, like, a couple times I could not get my arm moved out in the midway through the corner the way I wanted it to. And my seat had completely iced over for the last 3 laps. So, like, usually your seat has a little bit of stick to it when you're hanging off the side. But those last 3 laps, it was just pure arms to hang on to that thing, because I was on a slip and slide with my butt on the seat. So that was a memorable race just for that reason, just on how wet and slushy it got out there on Pine Lake. It's usually not like that. But there was so much snow out there, that's how it kind of developed.
You guys got to remember it all. You guys are Roger's heroes. Yeah. You guys are Roger's heroes.
No, I'd love to. I keep making the joke of if I could win Pine Lake and win the Sioux in the same year.
Yeah.
I'd
you get her done.
I'd retire.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing. There's another picture of me on the starting line, and then Chad is getting ready to let everybody go. But he's also wearing Gerald's like old racing vest, and so it's got 56 on it, and then I'm sitting there with 56 on my sled. So that's one thing that I'd love to put the 56 on top of the box at Pine Lake.
Yeah.
That'd mean a lot.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But how long been going for, Brody?
Almost 2 hours, hour and 54 minutes. Flies by, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just bullshitting in the garage or in the man cave.
That's why. So the name of this, Roger, is Shop Talk, and so it's like one of our favorite things to do is just sit in the garage and talk with your buddies, like as if you're just at the race shop after hours, just kind of talking, telling stories and everything. And that's kind of what it came to be, and it's quite enjoyable to do.
Good.
There's nothing like it, telling stories with your buddies.
Yeah. We pretty much, we did it for years before we started recording it. So we just
You
threw
had practice.
Yeah. So we just threw a microphone in front of us, and
And it's like, well, maybe we should do something with this, like archive old stories from the glory days, and then that's how we're talking to you and talking to Zach Erfendahl and Joey Hallstrom.
Yeah. And even our race recaps, we'd been doing it after races and everything too. So like after Pine Lake this past year, we had called up Taylor Bunke and talked about our battle we had during the race, and that's just something that there's no records of that from years past of just like 2 pros talking about the battle they had for in the race. So and talking about Nadawash and Eagle River and the Sioux. So it's been quite cool to do and look back on. It'll be cool to look back on. Mm-hmm. But like, we got a bunch more questions. If you wanted to keep going, Roger, if you wanted to do a part 1 or part 2, part 3, we could.
You're the boss.
no, we really appreciate this. This is great.
What about the grass cat? When Artie Cat was making lawnmowers, there was just one of them that just popped up for sale in Grand Forks.
Purple one.
Yep. We thought about buying it just to put it in the podcast studio, just as a talking piece.
Yeah, just park it in my garage.
Yep, just park it in
That's what it was
Brody's
going to be
garage.
for.
Was that something? Did you guys just not have much going on in the wintertime producing stuff? Or?
I think we were smart enough to understand that there probably was, to pay a business, this sustaining business, you had to do something probably more than just snowmobiles.
Yeah,
Sure.
So that was our first stab at buying a mower product, General Leisure, and painting it purple.
Oh man.
And then there was bicycles.
Yeah, bicycles too. Yeah.
Those are really hard to come by. Like,
I don't think I could even find one.
really. I'm sure maybe after this you'll have a few people hitting you up that'll give you their old bicycle or something.
Yeah, and mini bikes too.
I got a mini bike.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Really. What about the wet bike? Those are actually easier to come by actually than you think.
Yeah.
Just kind of hitting all the avenues of what could we build.
What else should we be doing?
Yeah.
Huh?
Polaris hit it hit it dead center with their dirt product. They came at that dirt product right at the right time.
Yep. Because
They are, and they will continue to be a dirt product company. You know, their snowmobile business is not any bigger than anybody else. Well, Skidoo's got a bigger snowmobile business than they do. You know.
Yep. But yeah, with the side by side or the dirt stuff. I mean, there was the Honda Odyssey way before that, but it was just way ahead of its time. It was just too far ahead of its time. But unreal. Well, I don't know, Roger. We could let you go for this one, but we'd love to do a part 2, part 3.
You can do it as long as I'm still alive.
Because
If you got any medicine you can give me so I can go back to 20 years old. My mind is no problem. Don't worry about the mind.
Yeah.
Just give me something for this here. Then I can go back and play with you guys.
Well, we could send you down to Peru and shoot some stem cells in yours.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But, what about before we go, the 2017 RS edition sitting behind Kyle here? I heard you didn't know about that?
Not a thing.
Really? How did they sneak that through without you knowing about it?
I was at the dealer show in Las Vegas, and they brought me up on the stage. In fact, they had, and I was in charge of engineering back then.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't, and they'd already had in the system part numbers with RS on it and so on, and it never rung a bell with me.
No, you're just scrolling
because
through
it was too unheard of, for me to think of that.
Yeah.
No.
But
They
it's
did
a pretty big honor, I'll tell you.
Yeah, they did a good job. That's one of the sharpest looking sleds, I think, with that seat and everything.
Oh, I didn't even notice the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We're gonna have a picture of you guys with that and me before you go.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we'd love a couple pictures.
And you can keep all, you can pick
Yeah.
and choose out of that.
I put them in my what do you call it here?
Yeah, we got it.
Man cave?
So this is our traveling table. We've taken this all the way down to Heydays as well. We headed down there. We did a couple live shows at Heydays, but we got to have you sign this table.
Oh, really? Where are you signing it at?
Well, we'll have you sign it anywhere. I got a couple pens. Oh, Kyle's got a marker.
Yeah.
Wherever you want to sign it here, like maybe out here in the middle.
You want to date it?
Sure,
What date
sure.
is it?
It is
10.
10/11/24.
There you go.
There we go.
Awesome,
Roger Skime
perfect.
signature on the table.
Sign the table.
That's
For episode 50. You can put episode 50 on there too.
What?
This is episode 50. This is our 50th episode.
Episode.
Yeah, our 50th episode. So we couldn't think of a bigger guest to have for our 50th episode.
Yeah. That's great.
You're 1962 to 2019. But then I was going to put that on there, but then they'll think I died in 2000. So I can't do that.
Yeah, maybe not a good idea.
No, not a good idea.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Roger Skime autographed the table that just sits in my garage.
We've teased Brody that we do it in his garage, and he's had Brian Deerdahl and Joey Hallstrom come, 2 Snowmobile Hall of Famers. Just come sit in Brody's garage with us.
Yeah.
And then Zach Herfindahl, a future Hall of Famer,
Yep.
in my garage, sitting at this table. It's like this table is going to be legendary pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. We had Wes in there, and all kinds of cool people.
I'll have to have you sign my hat here too, Roger. As soon as I wore this the first day, Kyle instantly knew what year it was from. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, it's 77, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Steve Dalling gave me this one a couple.
Did he?
Yeah, a couple years ago at Pine Lake. Just gave it to me.
Are we done with these?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
be.
we can be.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can be done here, Roger. We just want to. Well, we'll just finish it right here.
We'll
then.
end it right here.
No, we can't thank you enough for letting us come here and sit down with you and hear all your stories.
Well, it's an honor for me. It really is an honor for me.
I mean,
Thank you.
Because I'm just an old 81-year-old has-been now.
I don't think has-been's the
A
right
few
word.
years ago, I would run with you.
Oh man.
Well, when we get to Pine Lake this year, if you wanted to come down and rip around on that 440 or our new ZRT or even the 4-stroke, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, we'll see how many tracks we can blow. There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Roger Skime. Episode 50 in the books.
See ya.